Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today for this exciting webinar, Level Up Your Business, How to Boost Your Web Presence. Whether you've been in the insurance business for decades or are just starting to carve your niche, this session is packed with valuable insights that will empower you to take your online presence to the next level. First, let me introduce myself. I'm Olivia Bell, the Marketing Program Manager at Senior Market Sales. I have several years of experience helping agents like you develop marketing strategies that not only increase visibility, but also build trust with your audience. My expertise is in working with insurance professionals, which means that I understand the unique challenges that you face and how to overcome them with targeted solutions. Before we dive in, I'd like to take a moment to first appreciate the work that you do as licensed insurance agents. You are trusted advisors, guiding individuals and families through some of life's most important decisions. But as you know, being great at what you do isn't enough if people can't find you. And that's where your online presence becomes crucial. And why is this topic so important? A professional website is more than just a digital business card. It's your 24/7 storefront, essentially. It establishes credibility, showcases your expertise, and makes it easy for potential clients to connect with you. In today's digital-first world, not having a strong online presence is like operating in the dark, and that's not where you want to be. Yet, we hear this all the time, many agents struggle to get started. And maybe you feel overwhelmed by the technology, aren't sure what content to include, or think it's too expensive or time consuming. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. But the good news is that building a website and maintaining a web presence has never been more accessible, and today we're going to show you how. We are fortunate to have an incredible expert with us to shed light on how you can establish and maximize your web presence effectively. That expert is one and only Aaron Cassover, founder of Agent Methods, joining us. Aaron has dedicated his career to empowering agents with the tools they need to stand out in a competitive market. And his platform has helped thousands of agents create professional, client-friendly websites that serve as powerful marketing hubs. He's passionate about making it easy for agents to launch websites without the technical headaches, and he's here to share some of his proven strategies. So grab your notepads, silence those notifications, and get ready to level up your business. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please place them in the Q&A and we'll respond to you directly. And without further ado, let's welcome Aaron. Aaron, take it away.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Olivia. It's great to be here. I appreciate all the work that you're doing and the entire SMS team. Amazing organization that I'm so happy to be able to be a part of and to be here today with you all. Olivia, as you mentioned, we're going to talk about growing business, growing your sales, and I'm going to target 45 minutes, and this is a chance for us to really focus in on how you can make your business stronger. And so my ask of you is to close those distractions, close your email, put away your phone, grab a notepad, because we're going to invest this time in you and your business and your sales. Now the topic is how to boost your web presence. It's a big topic, and I probably could spend the entire time with tips on how to optimize your website. For example, if you have your social media links on the top of your web page, that's going to decrease your conversion by 25%. So get them off. Lots of tips like that. But that's not really the goal, right? The goal isn't to dive in and talk tech. The goal is to talk about sales, to talk about how do you connect with your customers? How do you grow your insurance business? And so I'm going to take a step back and look at that bigger picture. We're going to talk about, how today's consumers buy insurance, how the web's involved in that, and how you can use that to grow your sales and also to leverage your biggest strength, which is your connection with your customers. So Might be a little bit different than you're expecting, but the goal is the same. The goal is to invest in you and help you grow your business. Now, one final thing I'll say, we're doing this in January 2025. I have a New Year mentality. I think a lot of us do this time of year. New Year mindset. So if you happen to be watching or recording this later on, if it's later in the year, just keep that in mind. When we talk about a year, I'm thinking about Happy New Year, Happy 2025. The bad news is that means you have less time this year to get this stuff done. So if you're watching this in August or later on in the year, let's get cranking. So with that, I'm going to dive in. Really quickly, I'm not going to give you my entire background. Picture of me. I think the most important thing is, as much as this technology allows us to connect remotely across the country, I'm in Seattle, Washington, working from my home office right now. You might hear my dog barking in a minute. He usually does like to make a cameo. Connecting in person is wonderful. So if you see this face, most important thing I can say today is come say hi. I'd love to meet you in person. I'm a techie. I'm an introvert, so I'll be hiding behind a plant. So I know you insurance agents are social people, so make that first move and say, Aaron, you told me to say hi. I would love that. It would absolutely make my day. Very, very quick background on Agent Methods. We launched a long time ago, hard to believe this, 2009, with the mission of helping independent agents like you grow your sales through the web and through technology. Since then, our platform has evolved a lot. We release updates a couple times a week to our software, and so I don't even know how many thousands of iterations we've gone through since then. The number of websites we've launched is I think, crossing in the mid 6,000s now. And so we have had a chance to work with a lot of your peers, a lot of amazing agents, and we've had a bird's eye view into what they do differently to be successful. We've been paying close attention, taking notes on what those great agents do. And we both bake it into our software, but also I'm going to talk about these things today. This is not just kind of ivory tower theory. What I'm discussing are the things that the top agents do naturally. So we've got 3 parts, 3 acts. We're going to start by talking about your customers, how they're changing, some key trends we're seeing on customer expectations and customer behavior that we need to keep track of. The second is we're going to give you some strategies for increasing retention, cross sales, and referrals. Those are those big levers that help you really amplify or accelerate your business growth, and how you can use technology, automation, digital marketing to support that. And then the third part is I'll show you how we do it, how Agent Methods, our platform, helps agents like you automate your growth. At the end, there's a special offer, so stick around, and there's something special for you there. I want to begin, though, with a question, sort of a thought exercise. Again, the New Year mindset. We're playing the year. We're looking at 2025, and I imagine all of us want to grow our sales this year. Maybe a few of you are retiring and kind of winding down. If that's you, congratulations. But I think most of us are thinking, okay, how do we make this year the best year ever? How do you double this year? Now, I have 13-year-old twins, teenagers, which is a scary thing. And my son is in pre-algebra, and he knows all the answers to everything. And I was talking to him, how do you double things? And he's like, oh, Dad, that's easy. To double X is 2X, right? You just 2X things. And that is true, but there's a limit to that. So I talk to agents, and they tell me that they are going to, this is the year. They're going to go all in this year. They're going to buy twice as many leads. They're going to double their marketing. They're going to double the number of emails they send. You can't double the number of hours a day you work. You can't work 16 hours instead of 8. You can't work 14 days a week instead of 8. There is a limit. And so we've got a couple options here. If we're going to grow our business, we're going to double our sales. Imagine we're this hamster in a wheel and we want to run faster. The option 1 is just to speed up, just to do more, to get serious, work harder, grind it out. What this means, of course, is less sleep, more stress, more expenses. It's harder. And the option 2 is to change the way we operate. So we've got this mouse, gerbil, on a motorcycle. Bring in new technology. Bring in a tool or a system that allows you to go faster. So if you're thinking about doubling your sales this year, you can just try to do twice as much. That's the hard way. Or you can change the way you operate. You can bring in some new tools and new systems. This motorcycle is going to go 50 times faster without breaking a sweat. So with that, what are these motorcycles? What are the levers that we can pull to grow our sales without having to run faster? And there's a couple of them. The first one is retaining your customers. So all these customers you worked so hard in last year to sell, maybe you had a fantastic AEP and brought in a bunch of new business. Now we have to retain them. Because if you lose that customer, the next customer just replaces them, so you don't even grow. You're just working that hard to stay still. So retention is really critical to growth. The second is referrals. We love referrals. Every agent I've ever met loves referrals because you know that if one of your customers tells their friends and family about you and says you have to talk to this agent, the chances of that customer buying from you are really high because they come in with that trust. So we have to increase those referrals. And the way referrals work today, we'll talk about this, is not the way it worked 5 years ago. More cross sales. And you probably hear this drum getting beaten all the time. We have to make more cross sales. Cross sales are good for a few reasons. One is because your customers probably need things. There's risks that they're exposed to, and so you're helping them. The second, of course, is that maybe you're going to make another sale, a bigger commission. But the third one is that when somebody buys a second policy from you, they're buying you, not just the policy. They have committed to you as their agent. And when you make that cross sale, you're locking in that relationship with your customer for life. So pulling that lever is so important. And then, of course, the last one is making sure you're set up for success for AEP 2025. So putting in that infrastructure now. If you're focusing on Medicare sales, AEP might begin in October, but the prep begins in January. And so how do you pull that lever to be efficient during that crunch time to make sure that next AEP is the most successful ever? Now, these are the levers that we can pull to go up. There are some leaks in the bucket that are going to drag us down. And these are things that are going to decrease our efficiency. So the first one, we hear about this often, is speed. Often, we're just not fast enough. A customer comes to us with a question. They send us an email. They call us. They fill out the form on our website. And the data keeps, shrinking the number. I think it's now 5 minutes. You got 5 minutes to get back to them. The first agent to get back is the one that makes the sale. You have to be fast. On the flip side, is sometimes you weren't slow enough. There are customers who are out, learning, educating, getting quotes, but they're not going to buy for 3 months. They're not going to buy for 6 months. Right now they're in fact-finding mode, and they're going to then make the decision later. And so you have to have a system in place to stay with them so that when they're ready to buy, you're there. And that when they're ready to buy, you've been building a relationship with them the entire way through their journey. Third is it's too hard. And it's surprising how often this is true, that it's work for your customers to go and do this. Insurance is already confusing and already kind of this strange thing, but then we add complexity about too much information or how do we get in touch with you. It's amazing how often I call back an agent and the voicemail is full. I can't even get them on the phone because their voicemail is full. And you're making your customers work. Every time your customer has to work, you're decreasing the chance they're going to actually get to the finish line. And so we have to not make it hard. And the last one is the silent killer, and maybe the biggest leak in the bucket, which is lack of trust. And nobody's ever going to call you and say, I don't trust you, so I'm not going to buy from you. But it is going to drag down all of your efforts. And so if a customer goes online and looks at your website and they see broken images or misaligned font, or they see copyright 2017, or no website, or the information is not good, it's out of date, that's going to hurt your customer's trust in you, which is going to drag down the results and cause them to maybe not respond to your email. And it becomes a leak in the bucket that is the silent killer to sales. So with that, we're going to dig in a little bit into trust. And we're going to dig in a little bit to customer relationships. So the first thing is that if customers feel like they're not cared about, 68% of customers will leave if they feel like a business doesn't care about them. This comes from Price Waterhouse. And They'll actually go even further. They say 1 out of 3 customers will stop doing business if they have a single bad experience. So 1 out of 3 customers, a single bad experience. If you don't call them back in time, if they don't get a response they want, 1 out of 3 will leave. They will not call and tell you. They're just going to disappear. Now, on the flip side, 86% of customers say a good experience turns them into loyal long-term customers. So a single good experience, personal attention, reliable service turns them into loyal long-term customers. I have a story about this. I have an Apple iPhone, expensive thing. I was trying to keep it for as long as I could. And in December, last month, it just stopped turning on. Just died on me. It was dead. And Apple Care was long expired, but I figured I'd give it a try. So I called up the Apple support line, and even though my Apple Care was expired, they spent an hour with me trying to figure it out, troubleshooting, going through steps, trying to analyze what was going on. And at the very end of the hour, they said, okay, well, I think we're going to have to get into the store and have one of the geniuses look at it. So I can schedule an appointment tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for you to go into the Apple store and talk to a genius. And I asked the person on the phone, what are the chances they're going to fix my phone? And he said, honestly, probably 0. And I figured out what Apple was doing. Apple was providing me with great service because they knew that my phone was broken. I'm going to buy a new phone. I can be mad at Apple and go buy a Samsung, or I can feel like, wow, Apple took such good care of me. They even scheduled the appointment for me to go in and buy the new phone tomorrow. And that's exactly what they were doing, is making sure they stayed a loyal customer. They turned a bad experience into a good experience to keep my business and have me feel like they're supporting me, even though my phone just flat out broke on me. And that shouldn't have happened. Of course, I bought the new Apple phone. So all this said, I'd imagine every one of you would say, yes, I provide personal attention, I provide reliable service, I provide good experience. The challenge is that customer experiences are changing very fast. The definition of good experience is changing. 78% of your customers expect self-service channels and 24/7 support. So 4 to 5 of your customers expect to be able to get support from you 24 hours a day, 10 o'clock at night on a Friday night. If they need something, they need to have a way to go and get that. Now, they don't expect to call you and get you out of bed. They do expect if they have a problem or if there's something they can go and begin to resolve that problem online. Another story, my dog, who you may have heard barking, we have a vet that my wife and I have gone to forever. We love the vet. So when it came time to take him to the vet, it's 10 o'clock on Saturday night, and we're like, oh, the dog's due for shots. Go to their website, and of course they say, please call us at 7:30 on Monday morning to schedule an appointment. 7:30 Monday morning, we are getting our kids to school. We are not calling the vet. We're busy. And so I look around and find that the vet down the street from them has an online calendar. 10 o'clock on Saturday night, guess who got our business? As much as we love the first vet, the fact that the second one provided us with 24/7 support options, they're able to steal away business from a provider that we love because they're able to help us at the time that we need help. So think about that. Are there things that your customers need from you 10 o'clock on a Saturday night that can cause them to go to your competitor? Now, last stat here is your website. And this is that 3/4, 76% of consumers will visit a business's website before visiting in person. And if you think about your behavior, how often do you go to your doctor's website before you go see him in person, just to figure out, do they take your insurance? Where do you park? What does the doctor look like? I do that. Before you go to a restaurant, do you go look at the menu to see, what do I want to order? Do they have things that fit my dietary requirements? Is this a fancy place or a casual place? Should I dress up or dress down? I do that. I think most of us do that now. We pre-flight our real-world interactions by going online. And if you think about that for a second, this means that customers you're meeting with tomorrow are on your website today. They're going on your site. They want to go look at your picture. They want to go refresh their memory on who you are and what you offer. They want to go read about, the kinds of things you do. They want to go look at you and your hobbies and, do you have a family? What do you do in your free time? get to know you, feel connected. So when that in-person meeting happens, they're walking in with a better sense of confidence about who you are and what they should expect, just like we do with restaurants and our doctors and everything else. So the role of your website is not just generating new opportunities, but it's helping provide this great experience. It's helping provide customers with this sense of trust and connection. Now, there's one more thing I'm going to talk about before we kind of dig into the what we need to do, and that's referrals. So one of the levers is referrals. Referrals are the best thing ever, right? Everybody loves referrals. I talk to agents, they say things like, I don't need a website, I don't need to market, I'm referral only. And on one hand, go you, that's awesome. If you have gotten to be referral only, that is the dream for all of us. On the other hand, if you're referral only and you are not online, you are not marketing, you are losing out on opportunities you should be getting. And it's because the way that referrals work today has changed. And I'll walk you through this. So let's imagine that we have two people, or in this case, it's a bird and a person. They're friends or coworkers, and one of them is turning 65, and they reach out to their friend and say, hey, you turned 65 last year. This whole Medicare thing is super confusing. What'd you do? Who'd you get your coverage from? So this is how a referral begins. It's an interaction, and it might be in person, it might be on a social media platform, it might be via text message. That person replies, oh, Isabella Planright, she's great. So now we have a referral. They have passed on Isabella's name. So what happens next? It used to be that Isabella would give you like all the fridge magnets and the stack of business cards and say, give these to your friends. People just throw those things away now. So instead what happens is that friend goes to their computer, fires up our friend Google, and types in Isabella Planright. Right? This is how it goes. They're going to go look for Isabella. They're going to go look for Isabella's information. They're going to look for, what does Isabella do? Where does Isabella sell? Does Isabella sell to people like me? We're going to go start to get those questions answered and research Isabella. Now, think about this for you. What happens when your customers type in your name? What do they find when they type in your name? And maybe if your name is John Smith, they'll type in John Smith Insurance Agent or John Smith Insurance Agent, Seattle. Customers know enough to do that. But what do they find? What's the honest answer? If the answer is nothing, no website. If the answer is out-of-date website that you launched 10 years ago, but you haven't updated since then, God forbid if the answer is your competitor's website, and this happens a lot. If it says copyright 2022, if it's neglected in any way, you are losing referrals. All of that hard work is going to waste. So the website that you have today is a key mechanism in moving these relationships forward, moving these referrals forward, making sure they end up talking to you. And if you don't have those pieces in place, all of that effort that you're doing, you are losing out on. So now the question. So what is your plan? In 2025, what is your plan to make sure that every single customer is cared for and has a positive experience from you this year? What is your plan? And of course, as your business becomes more and more successful, as you get more and more customers, this gets harder and harder to do because you can't call every customer every day, every month. If you have 500 customers, it's just too much work. So what is your plan? I ask agents this question, and I think about it, if we're talking about a year, maybe we say the year begins with AEP or enrollment period. And we've got 12 months that go by, and there's that renewal. So what's your plan? And the honest answer that I get is something like this. It's sort of I do a newsletter sometimes when I can. My customers know I'm always there for them, so if they have a question, they can call me. I have a MailChimp account. I sent out 2 emails last year, and they were great, but I didn't have time. And the truth is that there are tactics, but very rarely do I talk to agents who have a consistent, stable, steady plan for the year. Throughout the course of the year, we're going to make sure that every month we're reaching out, we're engaging, we're investing in our customers and building relationships. And so this is what we want to fix. And we're going to look at how you can use your website and online tools to fix these problems in a scalable way that's going to grow your business, invest in relationships, and help you increase your sales. So this is your plan for 2025. And again, it's January, so we've got a whole year. If you're tuning in later, let's get going. The first thing, of course, is you have to stay top of mind. So if we're talking to our customers, doing a sign up, and then we have a year that goes by and then there's a renewal, I hate to say it, but there's a chance that they might forget your name. They might say, oh yeah, that agent, what was their name? The Pam's friend, they were great. And if that happens, you've lost. No matter how great your service was, you've lost if you can't stay top of mind. The second one is you want to keep your clients close. You want to make sure that they're constantly coming back to you, engaging with you, learning from you, that their relationship with you is a strong one. Cross sales, we talked about that at the beginning. Your 2025 plan has to include cross sales, not just because you might make a little more commission, but because they're good service to your customers. They have risks that you can help them with, and because of that second policy. When customers buy 2 policies, they've bought you. And then there's next year's enrollments. So we have to get ready now. Our plan is to begin in January so that when October kicks in, all the pieces are in place and we're set up for success. And then, of course, there's this little thing called compliance. We have to stay current and compliant with the rules that we have to follow. And those rules are here to protect us. They're here to protect our customers. They are a fact of life. And so we have to make sure that we're managing them. So let's go through these 5 things. First one is to stay top of mind. And I talked about this before. Don't be forgotten. Remind them that you are their agent. Make sure that they see your name on a consistent basis. When they have a question, make sure they know where to go. So part of this consistent communication is making sure that they have your information, your phone number, your website, your email, kind of staying in front of them consistently so that when that question pops up, they know exactly what to do, and they're not going to go to Google and find somebody else. And then, of course, if a friend asks about insurance, if you're top of mind, if you're staying in front of them, they're going to send that friend your way. So how do you do this, staying on top of mind? Pretty simple. It's a monthly email newsletter. I'm a huge advocate for doing this every month, consistently, never miss a month. Send a great email out to your customers that has a newsletter of information they're going to find interesting. You're not pushing products. You're not saying get a quote. You are reaching out, engaging, educating, informing them about things that matter to them every month. And it will achieve all of these things. Keep you top of mind, help your customers know where to go, and it will send referrals your way. So keeping your clients close. The key here is that you want to add value beyond the sale. So once you've made that sale, what do you do next? How do you make your customers smarter consumers, more educated insurance consumers? How do you help them use their policies and get the most out of the policies they bought from you? You need to engage them, inform, educate, make sure they know about the key things about health insurance or Medicare insurance. Make sure they're aware of different factors if there's changes coming on. Make sure that you are the source that educates them. And then align with their interests. And believe it or not, it's shocking, our customers don't think about insurance as much as we all do. I know it's shocking. So they think about other things. They think about family and retirement, their vacation plans, their garden, other kinds of interests. We want to show them that we're aligned with them, that we care about those things too, because that creates a sense of connection, a sense of trust. We want to show them that the things that they care about are important to us too. And you do this through a thing we call relationship marketing. And relationship marketing is marketing that happens not just to sell a product, to get someone to buy something, but to invest in that relationship, to connect with your customers, with your prospects, to build a stronger relationship. Generating cross sales. So the first thing is educating your customers on gaps and risks. They have risks that you can help. There are things that you can help them solve, and educating them is part of your job. I like to think of good cross sales as being, this is good service. We take pride in doing great service. If you're doing good cross sales, it means you're educating your customers and you're helping them solve these problems and solve these risks. And so good cross sales is done in a way that actually is a value add to your customer. And then, of course, that thing I keep saying, when somebody buys 2 policies, they've bought you. They become a customer for life. They're locked in. And the way that you generate cross sales is through marketing automation. And there's, you can go and hope somebody walks in your door and asks you about a critical illness policy, but it's much better to have automations in place that are going to go educate your customers, engage them, and then proactively create those opportunities for you. And so marketing automation, which I'll talk about in a second, automates this for you so that cross sales is no longer an issue. It just happens constantly. All right, so now we've got enrollments. Obviously, building relationships year-round. You can't just wait until October to reach out. You have to do this pre-AEP education because really AEP begins in September. That's when your customers start questioning, what am I supposed to be doing right now? That's when they start going to Google and looking for what are the deadlines and the dates and the things I need to know. So we have to make sure that you are the one showing them that before AEP begins. You have to automate your AEP, so automated appointment setting, automating your scope setting. And the way that you do all of this is automated appointment setting, automating kind of pre-AEP engagement to show them what's coming up and then to get them on your calendar so they meet with you during that enrollment season. All right, staying current and compliant. We know that compliance changes every year, and so we have to have a kind of a framework or a foundation to work on. The first is CMS compliance. Having a partner that's going to help you with that. Certainly SMS has a lot of resources here. We work with a third party as well in our platform. We bring in some really smart folks you may have met at TELUS Actuarial to do the official term is a disinterested third party audit. So they're not, they don't care. They just want to come and make sure that we're following the rules. And that helps us make sure that everything we do is going to be compliance ready and compliance friendly. Next one is HIPAA. And you've probably heard about HIPAA before. HIPAA is a really important thing because if you don't follow it, you get in trouble, but also because your customers' data is really important and really precious. And you want to make sure that you're holding that data really securely and with great care. And so making sure that your providers, the sources of services that you use, are following those rules as well, that they are HIPAA compliant. Your website host has to be following these rules because customers are going to send you messages and say, hey, my prescriptions have changed. I take this now. And now you've got health information coming through your website, even if you didn't ask for it. So making sure that you're following HIPAA compliance and that the providers you work with do as well is critical. And the third one you may not have heard of, which is a SOC 2 audit. And SOC 2 looks at security and availability to make sure that technology providers are following best practices. Again, it's a third-party audit that's standardized to make sure that your customer's data is secure, information is encrypted, there isn't a risk of an employee kind of running off with a bunch of stuff or changing some things. And so making sure that anybody who has access to your customer's information is doing this audit is critical because otherwise you don't know. Otherwise, they're just going to say, yes, security is important, but there's no standard that you're holding yourself up to or holding them up to. And so, of course, the answer here is, to make sure that if your website is not following these, if they're not doing CMS audits, if they're not HIPAA compliant, if they're not following SOC 2, it's up to you to make sure that you move to a provider that does follow these rules because otherwise it's leaving you exposed. So again, 2025 plan. Stay top of mind, and you do this by a monthly newsletter. Keeping your clients close through relationship marketing. You generate cross sales with email marketing and marketing automation campaigns. You prep for next year's enrollment, scheduling automation, all these digital tools, and then you stay current and compliant by making sure that your website provider follows the rules that you have to follow and updating if necessary. So in a sense, short list of 5 things. Hopefully you see the importance of all these things, how you see if you pull these levers, this isn't a trick, it's not some hack of make the button green instead of red. These are the things you have to do with your digital marketing, with your online presence to grow your business. On the flip side, it's probably a lot. I know that, I say monthly email newsletter, no problem. It's a lot of work. And so I'm going to show you how the Agent Methods platform automates this and how we can put this all in place so you can see kind of what tools are available, what systems are available to make this all happen. So let's look at how Agent Methods can automate your 2025 and your web presence. So the first thing, it begins with your website. I mentioned before that we started building our website in 2009, our website platform. We've launched 6,000 something websites, and I am confident and happy to say that the Agent Methods platform is the most advanced insurance website platform available. If you sell health insurance or Medicare insurance, you're not going to find a better system, a better platform for you to run your business, to be the foundation of your online presence. And those questions about, social media in the header or not, should the buttons be blue or green, we've already been focusing on those questions for over 15 years. And so those things are all taken care of. You can see a couple of the sites on our platform. Every single site is different. And that's because every one of you has a different business. You have a different product set, a different focus, a different style, different brand and way of communication and customer base. And your website should reflect that and present you online. And so while we've sort of taken the best practices and the key components to success, we also recognize the uniqueness that every agent has and that we need to communicate that on your website. Our platform has a library of insurance content. We have about 1,200 pieces of content on our library right now and growing fast. And this is information about the products that you sell, educational resources, imagery, email templates that you can use that are kind of building blocks for powering your online marketing. And this content is not static. We keep it updated. It's dynamic. We work with CMS and we do this review every year. We bring in a third party to make sure that the content we're putting out there is going to pass a compliance check. We encourage you to do a review. You should definitely do a compliance review of your website. We're going to make sure that it's ready to go. So every year we update that information. Certainly, the numbers change. So the Medicare numbers change every year, and so we keep this updated. We automatically update all the sites on our platform. So when the 2026 information comes out, you don't have to lose a couple weekends work during a busy time. We're going to go and update your content for you. And then other things like long-term care. If you sell long-term care insurance, the annual cost of care is a key part of that. Explaining what the cost of care is important in communicating long-term care. If you have a 2017 number, that's not going to be helping. And so we update that information every year so that you know that your site is always presenting current stuff to your customers. Lots of benefits to our platform. I'm not going to go through all of these things. Certainly HIPAA compliance is important. That's something that we watch very closely. And I think maybe the US-based support team is the biggest thing that's important. We are only focused on independent insurance agents. And our support team is working with agents like you all day, every day. So when you call and ask us a question or call and ask, for help in something, you don't have to explain your business to us. You don't have to explain what AEP stands for or what MAPD is or what LTCI is because we know. You don't have to explain to us that you can't say, I'm your Medicare expert because we know the compliance rules because we're living and breathing this every day. And so that means you're going to get to the result faster and not have to kind of keep reinventing the wheel because we've already done that. So that's our websites. Now, most things I talked about before were about relationships. And we talked about how most of your customers will go to your website before they meet with you in person and how important that is in the referral process. But all that other stuff, all of the relationship marketing automation, all of the other things to go and keep your customers engaged are just as important, if not more important than your web presence in making sure that you're successful in growing your business through these tools. And so to help you do that, we have a platform built into our system that we call Amplify. And the AMP in Amplify is automated marketing platform, super clever. Amplify is a automated system that helps you build relationships, helps you engage with your customers and your prospects automatically throughout the course of the year and help you do these things so as your business scales, you don't have to do more or work harder. I'll go through the most important things Amplify does. And the first one is it sends out an email newsletter every month. So every single month, we create and send on your behalf a email newsletter full of great engaging content that your customers get. They'll see your brand, your phone number, your logo, your name, and then some information that relates to them that's tied into the things that they care about, they're going to learn from. This also drives them back to your website. So they get your newsletter, they see your phone number, and then they go back to your website to go and read more content. So it keeps them engaged as customers, helps them stay fresh in what you offer. And it also sets the foundation for other marketing. So every month you are investing in your customer base, you're educating them, they're opening these emails, and they're learning from them. And that helps train the behavior that, oh, you know what, these are emails I should pay attention to. So when the next thing comes around, which is automated cross-marketing, we know these emails get opened. So the next thing Amplify does is it automates your cross-marketing. And it's hard to show you how simple this is. But the way Amplify does this is we connect with your CRM, or you can upload your customer list, and then we build segments of who your customers are. So is this somebody who is over 65 or under 65? Are they a MedSup or a MedAdvantage customer? Do they have a term life policy? We build segments, and then you tell Amplify what products that you sell, and Amplify automatically creates and sends out cross-marketing campaigns to them. This happens automatically, and it goes and engages with your customers and sends them the right messages. It's a mix of product information, referral, service email, and we guide your customers to learn from you and to take action from you. And so I'll show you just a few examples. These are some Medicare campaigns that go out. Amplify is time sensitive, so in September, October, it's educating your customers about open enrollment, healthcare, and AEP. And then in January, Amplify knows that OEP is here. Now we don't go and market OEP. What we do is we go and we market, if you have a question, how do you get support? If you're not sure what's included in your plan or how to use your plan, contact me, your agent. And we do that as a retention-focused campaign to make sure that during OEP, if a customer is concerned about their product, that they go back to you to talk about it. And then later on in the year, we'll cross-sell dental and vision and travel and final expense and critical illness, all automated. Amplify automates your social media accounts. So every business day, we post out to Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram, and we're sharing content that gets you into the conversation. So our focus with social media is not to push, come get a quote. It's to add value, to get you into the party. If we think about Facebook, for example, people go to Facebook to look at vacation photos and baby pictures and cat videos. And if you're there saying, you need to buy final expense insurance, they're going to unfollow you pretty quickly. So instead, we share content that they're going to respond to and they're going to care about, and they're going to find is adding value. It's engaging, it's entertaining, and it all comes from you. And that shows them that you are aligned with them, that you care about the same things that they do, and you add value to them. By having a relationship with you, their lives are better. Now, I have a little sneak peek here. The last thing I'll talk about with Amplify is that in Amplify, as an SMS agent, SMS has done something really cool. They have a program called Client Stream, an amazing program where they provide marketing support to agents. And they have a content library of resources they've created. And that content library is integrated into Amplify. So if you are an SMS agent, you can get access to some special tools, special email, special cross-marketing, client education, special social media posts that are designed by the team at SMS to help you grow your business. And that's all built into the platform. Now, the last thing I'll talk about is the scheduler. So we talked about automating open enrollment. And the scheduler is sort of a magical thing. Scheduler is like a personal assistant that's going to go out to your customers and book appointments for you. You can add a calendar to your online business if customers can go self-service, schedule at 10 o'clock at night on a Saturday, but it does more than that. It actually proactively reaches out to people you need to meet with. It communicates with them and tells them why they should come meet with you, brings them back to your calendar, has them book an appointment, captures a scope of appointment form or a consent form, and then it tracks your compliance with the 48-hour rule. And so we'll look at this for a second. Of course, online scheduling, so customers can go and book appointments. We synchronize with all the major calendaring systems, so we're not going to double book you. We know when you're free and busy. We take away all of that back and forth. From what our estimates are, we save you 15 minutes per meeting of back and forth time. So in a 8-hour day, if you have a meeting every hour, we're going to save you 2 hours of time. And so this is an amazing thing in terms of time savings, allowing you to focus on the most important thing, which is meeting with your customers. The compliance rule, I mentioned before that the scheduler collects a scope of appointment. It also manages the 48-hour rule. It's a simple rule, right? Have a scope 48 hours before the meeting. But to keep track of that is a headache. You have to go cross-reference your scopes. You have to go cross-reference your meetings. Every day you have to look at your calendar and say, oh, this one, I got this one at 11:01, but the meeting starts at 11, so I have to go reschedule. Scheduler automates all this. And so you'll see a really simple, green check means we're good to go. The scope was on file 40 hours before the meeting. We are set. The yellow warning sign means that the meeting is coming up. There's still time. The scope's not there. And by the way, scheduler is actively reaching out to get that scope signed by the customer. So it's not just a warning. We're actually going and trying to collect the scope. This happens a lot where somebody signs a scope, books an appointment, and then adds their spouse. And then, of course, the do not enter, the red sign means it's less than 40 hours away. The scope was not completed. And at that point, we're going to let you know, so you know that this meeting is not in compliance with the 40-hour rule. We're also going to let the customer know, and we're going to work on rescheduling the meeting so we can get that scope signed in time. This all happens automatically. And so you don't have to worry about it anymore. You book more appointments, you focus on talking to your customers, and all of this scope management is just running behind the scenes, freeing you up. Of course, if anybody ever comes knocking, if CMS shows up at your front door and says, hey, how are you managing the 40-hour rule? What are you doing? You can just point them here and say it's all automated, and you're good to go. Okay, so we talked about this year. We talked about the plan for the year. When we put it all together, the 12 newsletters, monthly newsletters, daily social posts, blog posts on your website, email campaigns, it's over 350 automated annual touch points with your customers. That probably sounds like a lot. But the truth is that for your customer, it means that no matter what channel they want to go to, no matter where they want to go to interact with you, if they want to go into social media, if they want to do it via text, via email, via your website, they're going to find that they're supported there. They're going to find that there's great content, there's self-service options, there's ways to engage the way they want to. And the best thing about this is that all this happens automatically. This is a system that runs on your behalf without you having to go and do all the work to make it happen. So, a few success stories. I've got some fresh ones. We're fresh off of AEP. I love this. Joe and Sherry let us know that, after launching last year, they saw their apps go up by 38%. They're happy about that. Carol says that we saved her 80 hours of work during AEP. 80 hours. That's like 2 more weeks that she could focus on her customers. It's amazing. I love this part. In September, she went on vacation for 2 weeks because she knew that everything was automated and taken care of. She was able to relax as opposed to stress out. Isn't that great to go into AEP rested and fresh as opposed to, scrambling and chaotic? I love this. JP didn't lose a single client because he was able to keep them all engaged, educate them all, and make sure that he was the one they met with. They didn't go fire up Google and end up in a competitor's doorstep because he was proactive. And Janice tells us that, she saved the price of having to hire somebody, an assistant to work her phone. She scheduled over 600 appointments through our system this year. And the savings, I can't even imagine what that is, not having to hire a person. So a few case studies. Ultimately, what matters. And you can look at this, certainly this is our platform, but this is the power of using these digital marketing tools, using them to automate and grow your business. We see agents on the Agent Methods platform that use our systems to automate their marketing spend about half as much time each month on their marketing. So, they're getting that time back to see more customers, make more sales, spend time with their families, pick up a hobby, catch up on sleep. There's a lot of things you can do with that time. And yet the results go way up. 60% increase in referrals. That alone is life-changing. 78% more cross-sales, customers buying multiple policies. And when they're asked how the last year went, they were 62% more likely to have had their sales increase in the past 12 months. They're just flat out doing better. I love this so much because this is what we're here for. This is what all of us are here for, is to help your customers, help you grow your business, help you make more sales. And that's exactly what this automation, that's exactly what our platform is designed to do. And the numbers show that it works. So with that, I've been talking a lot. If you're interested in learning more, and again, I didn't dive into the green versus blue button or, the optimization. Happy to talk about this stuff too. If you want to dig in and learn about how you can use your website better, how you can use automations to build better relationships, how you can streamline your business to work less but grow your sales, let's connect. There's a special offer I mentioned before. Because you're an SMS agent, there's a $500 savings in our platform that you get. And the way that you capture that is going to agentmethods.com/SMS-agents. There's a quick form you fill out. You get to a calendar. We practice what we preach. You can do this at 2 o'clock in the morning. Take you to a calendar. You can book a time, and we'll have a one-on-one conversation. We'll talk about your business and how this can help you. So with that, love to talk with you more. I cannot wait to connect. And I really appreciate all of your time today.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much, Aaron. And thank you all for attending our webinar today. Your time is immensely appreciated. And also thank you to everyone who submitted a question in the Q&A. If you have more following the call, please don't hesitate to schedule a demo with Aaron and his team. You can also contact your dedicated senior market sales marketing consultant. Or if you just like to learn more about how senior market sales can help you and your business, give us a call at 1-800-786-5566 and mention this webinar today. So long, everyone. Have a great one.